February 2nd, 2021 to order. And I'm going to request that the clerk call the roll.
Mayor Weissman,
Here.
Vice Mayor Shelley,
Here.
Commissioner Evans,
Present.
Commissioner Friedland,
Present.
Commissioner Landman,
Here.
Commissioner Dr. Marks, Commissioner Dr. Marks.
Here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Yeah.
Commissioner Narodsky,
Present.
Mr. Wasson,
Here.
Mr. Wolpen.
Here.
Have a quorum.
Thank you so much. This meeting shall be held via virtual communications media technology is made necessary by the continued state and local emergency. Because of the continued COVID-19 pandemic and the need to ensure the public health, safety, and welfare, this meeting will be conducted remotely by Zoom. Due to the ongoing state of emergency and the recommendations from all public health authorities, the City of Aventura recommends that all persons view and participate in the meeting through electronic means. Members of the public have been directed on how to access the meeting through the agenda posted online and at Government Center. Members of the public will be able to provide comments via audio when the item is open to public comment. The city clerk will provide directions on how to participate when this item is open for public comment. Next, I'm going to ask that we all stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the
to
flag
of the United States of America
and to the
and to the
republic
republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation, under God, indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty and
and
justice
justice
for all. Thank you. Mr. City Manager, are there any additions or deletions to the published agenda?
No, Mayor.
Thank you. We have our regular special presentations, and I'm going to ask our City Manager, Mr. Wasson, to do the Employee Service Awards.
We haven't had one of these in a while, so tonight we're going to recognize somebody who's been with the city for 20 years, which is quite an accomplishment. This person started out in the finance department 20 years ago and then moved over to IT. Since that time, she's overseen the department go from 2 servers to over 50 or 50. She does communications, but most importantly, she really helps us maintain our system in a safe and very good manner. During the course of her 20 years, she's helped ACES with their technology. And it's very nice tonight to recognize Karen Lanke, who's our IT director. Karen, I don't know if you can unveil yourself there. You might not see her around. She works on the 4th floor and she's all over the place, but I can tell you for the last 2.5 years, Karen has really done a lot to make sure that everybody here is very careful with their IT and make sure that we stay out of trouble, especially with things that go on today in the technology world. So Karen, congratulations.
Thank you.
Mayor, the next 2 items.
All right, if I could interrupt you,
yes.
I could interrupt you for a second, and I'm sorry, it was remiss of me in the beginning, but I would like us as a commission to take a moment in silence in recognition of the 2 FBI officers that were killed today in South Florida. One female, 42-year-old, male, 36 years old, on a call dealing with child pornography. Other officers were injured in doing their duty, and the perpetrator wound up shooting himself. But this is what we put law enforcement in charge of doing, is they trying to protect us. So with your indulgence, let us all have a moment of silent meditation as we give them our thoughts and prayers and their families. Okay. All right, I will give it back to the city manager with the presentations.
Thank you, Mayor. If I could have Principal Tricala come from ACES on, he'll do the ACES update.
Good evening, everyone. Alyssa, is Mariana also on? All right. All right, so good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to introduce Mariana Paramo, one of our 8th grade students who will provide the ACES update for us.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mariana Paramo, and I'm an 8th grade student at ACES. I've had the privilege of attending ACES for 9 years. Can you believe that? Time flies. And I am super happy to be here tonight to be able to share some of the incredible things that we're doing at ACES. We recently completed the 2nd quarter and will celebrate our honor roll students by presenting individual certificates and a treat to celebrate their accomplishments. We also held our National Junior Honor Society induction ceremony, and we had 48 members this year for students in grades 6 through 8. NJHS recently kicked off their online tutoring program for students in grades 3 through 5 in the evenings. Our teachers recently conducted professional development on our NWEA and iReady data. The students are being invited to interventions on Saturdays as well as before and after school. Yesterday started Black History Month, and ACES teachers are embracing this moment to cover the important topics related to African American history and racial equity. As part of our larger commitment to being named an official No Place for Hate School, we are using content from the Anti-Defamation League throughout Black History Month, while also conducting a kindness challenge around Valentine's Day and the anniversary of Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. We recently started middle school clubs for the 2nd semester. Student government, amateur cares, creative writing, and chess are just some of the many options provided. I have personally participated in Model UN, NJHS, dance, and art, and have had a blast. They have allowed me to discover new passions such as debating and enhance others like dancing. I am also very excited because starting tomorrow, we'll create a mixed grade level homeroom with all of the Model UN students. This will allow all of us to be together so we can have the time in the afternoon to prepare for a Model UN conference coming in the spring. We will learn important debate techniques and get to come up with solutions to world problems like hunger. As a part of the National Junior Honor Society, I get to participate in multiple volunteering events with organizations like the National MS Society and Make-A-Wish Foundation. We also have a student government association, which gives students a chance to take action and improve the school, teaching them responsibility and leadership. 5th grade students recently began their DARE lessons with Officer Manny, and he will continue to visit them through social studies to continue the tradition of having our students commit to remaining drug-free. Lastly, ACES was honored to be a feature school by Americans for Prosperity last week in celebration of School Choice Week. Their profile of ACES featured an interview from Mayor Wiseman and Principal Tricala, as well as statements from some of our families. I wanted to personally thank the City of Aventura and everyone at ACES for allowing me to be part of this wonderful school. I'll be graduating later this year. I will never forget the incredible experience of being an Eagle. Thank you for the opportunity to share just a few of the many great things happening at ACES, where excellence is the expectation, not the exception. Have a great evening.
Mariana, thank you so much. You impressed all of us, not only with your speaking ability, your poise, and your excitement. And we will not be forgetting you either. Thank you so much. And plans for the year after?
Well, I'm still applying to high schools, but I'm thinking of going to St. Thomas or hopefully American Heritage if I can win the scholarship and become a doctor like my dad.
Well, we wish you all the luck in the world. Okay, we really do.
Mayor, I have a
Mr.
comment. Is it appropriate? Mayor, may I say something?
Mr. Narowski, certainly.
First of all, Mariana, that's very impressive, and Principal Tricala, it's a reflection on the school that we have such an excellent presentation, and don't let it get to your head, but that was very good. I actually had a question, and I think now is the appropriate forum. Mayor, cut me off if it's not. I'm interested in the education that's being provided with regard to the racial equity. Would it be possible to have some of that content and that curriculum emailed over to us so that we could take a look at it?
Mayor, can I chime in?
Perfectly okay to discuss this, and Mr. Tricala, if you
Okay.
can answer.
Absolutely, and we were fortunate. Mayor shared with us the No Place for Hate certification, something that had happened in the past that I wasn't really fully aware of. And the Anti-Defamation League has collected resources that are specified to the grade level. They're reviewed for not only content but also for the academics, and that's what we've been using as the core element, and it embraces multiple aspects, including the racial equity.
Okay, if it would
We
be
can definitely
possible,
forward over.
out of interest, I would really appreciate that. And again,
Absolutely.
it's very, very impressive of your student.
I think you'll be very impressed with ADL's No Place for Hate. It's national, adopted by almost every state, and has won numerous awards. And like I said, ACES used to do it a long time ago, and I thank Principal Tricala for bringing it back, because it's one of the best programs that provides information to students on equity and equality. Okay, so Mr. Wasson.
Okay, if David McKnight, Principal McKnight, I don't know how you're going to top that, David, but you can try.
Yeah, I'm not even going to try. Ms. Paramo was amazing. So kudos to her, as well as Principal Tricala, for that presentation. So tonight, guys, you have me. Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, and City Manager. Thank you for allowing me to give you an update on our school. Currently, the 2021-2022 total enrollment, the 2020-2021 total enrollment is 418. We've got 221 ninth graders and 197 10th graders. Ninth graders in person currently are 151. Ninth grade mobile are 70. 10th grade in person are 95. 10th grade mobile are 102. To date, 400 families have applied to be enrolled at our school for next year. The enrollment plan is as follows: 11th grade, 190 students, 10th grade, 210 students, 9th grade, 220 students. So far, the applications we have received can be broken down as follows: 9th grade, 346 applications, with 240 being or at least claiming their residence. 10th grade, 31 applications, 19 claiming residency, and 11th grade, 23 applications with 13 claiming residency. We have until February 12th to accept applications in open enrollment. The lottery will be held on February 22nd and then posted on the DSAHS website. We will still accept applications, of course, after the open enrollment period ends. With regard to academics, our school has completed the mid-year NWEA test and data has been disseminated. Data chats have been held with all the teachers of subjects related to FSA and EOC testing, and an action plan has been developed and put in place to address any areas of concern related to student performance. Tutoring in math and ELA is ongoing, and Saturday academies in ELA, math, and science will begin 6 weeks out from their respective testing windows. We are currently working on completing our ordering in technology and curriculum for the 21-22 school year. So orders can be placed in this budget cycle to ensure delivery of all items prior to the beginning of the next school year. I want to thank the commissioners for their input in this area. The CSUSA network just completed its accreditation recertification, and with the participation of our staff, families, and students, this was a huge success. The preliminary results have confirmed that we have received no insufficient ratings, which means we will be recertified for another 5 years. The official final report will be shared with our stakeholders as soon as it is received from Cognia in the next 30 days. Thanks again for your dedication and involvement in the continued improvement of our school. We are also finalizing our course offerings for 11th grade so that we can begin meeting with our current students to determine their classes for next year that will drive scheduling decisions. With regard to athletics, our locker rooms near completion. The installation of the exterior staircase will, I believe, happen in the next week. Once this is in place, inspections will occur so that we can begin utilizing the space. We greatly appreciate the mayor and commission recognizing this need and supporting this project quickly. Our winter season has come to an end for our sports, and though we have certainly faced challenges this year, we are very proud of the success of our programs. Basketball improved their record from 210 to 7-3 this year, including an interruption mid-season from COVID-19. Boys soccer also went from 0-3 to 2-1, and girls soccer, though winless, lost very close games against both Ransom Everglades and Cardinal Gibbons, two prestigious athletic programs that beat us handily last year. This is in addition to a winning season by girls volleyball in the fall and the successful launch of our cross-country team. Now we turn our attention to the spring, where flag football, boys volleyball, and our new sport tennis looks to continue establishing a winning culture at DSAHS. We continue to work tirelessly to provide our student athletes with the highest quality athletic experience while meeting the fiscal challenges of the pandemic. Though we are adding varsity programs to our sports lineup next year, we have developed a staggered approach to the purchase of our varsity uniforms to spread the cost over time and reduce the impact to our budget. We have also negotiated a heavily discounted rate with our coach bus providers so that we continue to transport our student athletes in a comfortable and reliable manner that allows for social distancing and air filtration. The work continues, and our steady swagger, toughness, effort, discipline, integrity culture is taking hold in our athletics. Evidence of this can be seen in the success of our programs, regardless of the circumstances. Over the course of January, students and clubs got back into swing of things after winter break. Students learned how to handle stress and the importance of creating strong support system during their social emotional learning time. An important message as we start the second semester. Throughout February, our students will spend time celebrating Black History Month during the SEL time as well. Over the second week of February, we will celebrate Literacy Week with activities in ELA and dress down days. Our clubs will also be hosting activities throughout the month, such as a movie night on the 22nd, hosted by our History Through Movies Club. There are going to be candygrams for Valentine's Day, hosted by our Women's Empowerment Club, and a fundraiser at Chillin', hosted by Student Government Association. We will also host our honor roll recognition ceremony for the second quarter next week with a breakfast opportunity. And that's my report for DSAHS for February.
Commissioner Evans. Unmute.
Very good report. I had a question which I don't know if it's allowable or not, but do you know what?
It's allowable.
Well, wait till you've heard it. What percentage of your teachers have been vaccinated?
One that is over 65. That is all the teachers that have been vaccinated at our school.
Okay, I was going to ask Principal Takala about his school too, but
there is no ability, Jonathan, there is no ability for teachers, according to the governor's priority list at this moment in time, to be vaccinated if they are under 65. That's why we passed a resolution and a letter going to him asking, perhaps even begging, that
Yeah.
he prioritize teachers as essential and that they get vaccinated, because it will never be normal without all of the teachers feeling safe enough to come into school every day.
Right.
But right now, they can't.
I thought it was opening up, but no.
Not yet.
Okay. Thank
but
you.
I'm aware. Vice Mayor Shelley.
Yeah, quick question, Principal. I don't know if anyone from the fundraising arm is on tonight, but have you had much contact with them recently since the last report we had? Because I know it was a very good report the last time we heard from them. And I don't know, we haven't heard since. So I was just wondering if you've had much contact, and if so, could you give us a little update as to what is going on between the relationship of the two of you?
Yeah, I've been in contact with Miss Orlinsky, and we're working through communication from the school on the Compass program. We're also, she has also addressed my school operations administrator with the way the parents can give their funding through myschoolbucks.com. So they're working out the details there. So there is movement in the area of getting things up and running related to the fundraising.
The question, I think when we spoke last, and I don't know how, remember it was left, they were going to be putting together some sort of a brochure with various gift ideas or items that people could donate to and be named for, and naming possibilities. Do you know the status of that? Because I have people that have asked me, but I haven't seen anything yet.
Commissioner Shelley, I don't know the status of that. That's something that hasn't been shared with me. I wish
I can tell you that they're working very hard on it.
Right.
That they have probably about 80% ready to go to print, and they've worked on designs for a flyer. So it's well in process, and we can also ask for an update.
Thank you.
Okay, then maybe the city manager wants to put it on the next workshop.
That'd be great. Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, and possibly adding another person to that foundation.
Well, there's another person that has to be added.
Yes, I'm saying.
Yeah, and we will have our full complement. Any other questions? I have one question for the principal, and I know it's on the Sofer High website, but how else are we letting people know about the application? We're still the new kid on the block, and not everyone knows that there's a high school.
Well, we also have it on the City of Aventura's website in addition to the school website. I know it's being promoted there as well. We've developed some marketing materials that we have circulated. Of course, we've promoted our information sessions, and they have been well attended, related to the interest for the school. I think the 400 applications kind of speaks to the fact that we are getting feedback, and there are people applying and interested in the school. This is at this time last year, I believe we had 330 applications. So we are, I think, progressing nicely with the number of applications we have.
I'm going to suggest you, within the 2 weeks that you have left, that you explore other ways of getting this information out, particularly to parents of students that are not at ACES but live in Aventura, whether it's a brochure to go to every condo. I don't care what it is, but I'm stopped too many times being asked, and I can't say go on the city website. It's just not the way most people communicate what's happening. Okay, it's not by going to somebody else's website. It's either done via social media, all kinds of ways, but I will leave it to you and your students to be able to come up with something far better than I can come up with. But I would say that, you know, it's just, and I see some other nods, that we are stopped and we are asked about it. And we always need to find, in a city that's all condos, ways of communicating that are better than just saying, well, you can go to the website. So, you know, I can tell you, going to the city website is not going to do the kind of direct marketing that I think we need. Commissioner Marks.
I would just suggest that we get the information out to all the property managers to disseminate, because that covers I don't know that there are any individual homes whatsoever that don't have, some kind of a property, an HOA or whatever. So we should be getting that out from the city, really for both ACES and for the high school. To just let them know, here's the website. If it's sent electronically, then they can click on either website and apply if they're interested in doing so.
The other option is giving the Aventura Marketing Council something to post on their website, because they have a huge mailing list as well. Now, a lot of them won't live in Aventura, but they can make those decisions, they can make those decisions themselves. Part of it is just general PR about the school.
We can do that.
Okay.
And Mayor, our social media presence is much more alive this year. We've certainly done much more with our activities director, Ian Comber-Graham, to get the word out on the great things we're doing here at the school.
Great. It's great.
Mayor.
Commissioner Landman.
Yes.
Yay!
No, she has a classmate named Mayor in her class, so she just.
Oh.
So in terms, you mentioned registrations for 10th and 11th grade, the 31 and the 23. How many of the students are returning?
So I mentioned that a bit earlier. We have right now we're missing 6 recommits out of our 9th and 10th grade groups. So thank you for helping me clarify that.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That means
Only 6, that's great.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I don't see anybody's hand. All right, I don't see anyone's hand. So I'm going to ask if any member, our next item is the consent agenda, and I'm going to ask if any member of the commission would like to remove an item from the consent agenda. Great, now I can breathe. Can I ask for a motion for approval for the items on the consent agenda? Motion made by Vice Mayor Shelley, seconded by Commissioner Landman, Commissioner Friedland. I'm going to ask the clerk for a roll call vote.
Commissioner Evans? Commissioner Evans?
You're on mute, Jonathan.
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Friedland?
Yes.
Commissioner Landman?
Yes.
Commissioner Dr. Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Nawrocki?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Shelley?
Yes.
And Mayor Weissman?
Yes,
Motion passes.
thank you so much. The next item on our agenda is zoning hearings, quasi judicial public hearings, and we have none for tonight. So we move into item 7, which is ordinances, first public reading. And I'm going to request the city attorney to read the ordinance.
Thank you, Mayor. An ordinance of the City of Aventura, Florida, amending Division 6, Arts and Public Places Advisory Board of Article 3, Chapter 2 of the City Code to revise the composition of the Art and Public Places Advisory Board, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in the code, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. I'm going to ask for a motion for approval. I'm going to ask for a motion for approval of the ordinance made by Commissioner Landman. Somebody needs to mute because we're getting echoes, seconded by Vice Mayor Shelley. I'm going to ask the city manager to review this item.
Thank you, Mayor. As it says, and we discussed at the last workshop meeting, to include 5 residents on, or to change the makeup of the Arts and Public Places Committee. Currently, it's 4 residents and the mayor. In order to have more input from residents, it was decided that we would have 5 residents on there. So we're just changing the makeup, and that is the ordinance, since it was set up by ordinance.
Okay, and I would like all of the commissioners to know that before any art that is donated to the city can be placed, by ordinance, this is the committee that has to approve it. It is a recommendation. Okay, that's all it is a recommendation. And most of the people on the committee have pretty impressive resumes in terms of their involvement with the arts. So I just need to ask the city manager. I know that we added one person and a couple of commissioners had someone that they thought would be a very good addition. How are we going to proceed with that?
I will I will get that name from, I believe, Commissioner Marks. I will get that name and we'll put it on the next workshop. Get it approved. And as soon as they're approved, it'll be then, I think it'll go to the next commission meeting in March, but I'm sure that person can kind of sit in.
On the
Yeah.
meeting now, I'm sure too. I also would say to all of you, because it did come up at the last meeting, the mosaic on the Soffer Bank, you know, that header, former Commissioner Weinberg made an inquiry, and through their legal representation, my understanding is the bank said at their expense, they will preserve the mosaic and they will, at their expense, put it anywhere in the city we would like it.
Right.
So I think that's good news for us. We all liked the mosaic and thought that it would be a welcome addition, but that too has to go to the arts and public places. It's just, you know, as I drive around the city, I would say that's one thing we're deprived of. We're art deprived in this city. You can go through other cities and there's statues and bright paintings all over the place. And here we have a relatively small number. So I think it's good that this committee is going to be activated. We will meet by Zoom, city manager.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, we're going to meet by Zoom. And again, it's sunshine, it's open to anybody. So if anyone has someone else that they know is very involved in the arts or wants to be involved, tell them, you know, we're meeting and they're always welcome to have input. I just think it's an important thing. Okay, are there any questions Vice Mayor Shelley? Can't hear you.
Yeah. Just,
Okay.
Ron, make a note to whoever the committee chair is going to be. Marty Margulies has an amazing art collection, and he has given the Williams Island 2 or 3 of the pieces, and he leaves it here. We take care of it, etc. But he has tremendous amounts of pieces for outdoors as well. So, and he's looking for places to put his art, and he'd love to do it. And it doesn't cost us anything. But would you make sure that they look into contacting him, because that's something he does quite frequently, and he's done it for the island, and he's got some magnificent stuff.
Okay, that'd be great.
And Vice Mayor, you and I were both there at the last piece that he donated.
Remember that? Yes, exactly.
Yeah, these aren't indoor pieces. These are massive pieces, and
Yeah,
I'm sure Marty would be more than happy to donate.
Absolutely, yes.
Anyone else? Any commissioner? Okay, then I'm going to open this item on the arts in public places to the public. Is there anyone in the public that wishes to address this item?
Any members of the public wishing to provide a comment, please use your raise hand icon at this time. If you're calling in, please press *9. Mayor, I'm not seeing anybody wishing to speak at this time.
How many people do we have watching, listening?
There are 12 attendees and 3 of those are staff, so 9.
9, okay. And we still don't have a chat box?
No.
Okay, I'm doing it publicly. Mr. City Manager, you promised me that we would have a chat box. I'm saying it for the record. I expect to see a chat box at the next meeting. And I don't like not having it month after month after month when we very respectfully requested it. We would like to know the involvement of our community. We'd like to know the people that are taking the time to watch, and it's very, very difficult this way. Okay, with that said, if there's no one in the public that wishes to speak, I'm going to close the item for public comment, and I'm going to ask the clerk for a roll call vote.
Commissioner Evans? Commissioner Friedland?
Yes, approved.
Commissioner Landman?
Yes.
Commissioner Dr. Mark?
Yes.
Commissioner Narotsky?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Shelley?
Yes.
And Mayor Weissman?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. We have no ordinances on second reading. We also have no resolutions for public hearing. Interesting night. So that brings us to reports. Do any of the commissioners, and it's been such tough times for everybody, are there any commissioners that have any reports or items you wish to discuss or talk about? I know Commissioner Narotsky asked, I'm not sure if you did it before, so I will let you go first.
Oh,
And
thank
what
you.
what I see is Dr. Marks and Vice Mayor Shelley. So we'll go in that order.
So it's just an item. I spoke to Ron in the week about it. I just wanted to, and we did get it's a law enforcement item. And we got an update earlier in the week about certain proactive policing. I had heard rumors, around the rumor mill about increased crime and so forth. So I just wanted to make sure that we have a plan to communicate to the public that that is in fact not the case, that our city remains safe, that even though there are incidents outside of the city, they can, obviously it's COVID, but you could still be, at the mall masked and at our stores and so forth. So I would ask perhaps if the city manager or if the chief of police would be able to comment and refute those rumors, or if something has changed, let us know, because specifically it was some kind of rumor that there had been some muggings around town. And so I'd just like to get that, air that in public.
Thank you,
Okay.
Mark.
And I think city manager, I think he had said he would like to hear from the chief in his earlier talk.
Yeah, no, but Brian can
I'm going to
speak.
go directly. Yeah, I'm going to go directly to the chief.
Hi, good morning, Mayor, Commissioner. To address the muggings, I can assure you that we've had no robberies, no reports of any muggings within the past 60 days. I know that there had been some rumors in the past, but those did not bear any fruit, and those we've had nothing of the sort. I will say that violent crime, and as everyone can see and watching the news on a daily basis, has gone up, not only here in Miami-Dade County, but really throughout the nation. And there's a lot of factors for that, which I don't think we have the time to discuss. I'd be more than happy to discuss that with anybody at a later time. But I can assure you one thing. As you can see with the proactivity, our officers are being extremely proactive to make sure that crime does not bleed over into our community and that we have a safe community for our residents and for the visitors that come here. And I get our crime stats that come out on a monthly basis, and we have to report every 6 months to the state. And our violent crime and our overall crime rate has gone down significantly in a lot of these factors. And that's due to the direct efforts of the officers going out there and being proactive. So I can assure you that it is safe to go to the mall. The mall is a very popular destination. If you go to other shopping centers throughout surrounding counties, you're not going to see as many people at their shopping centers as the mall, and people feel safe coming here, and we have a lot to provide. So if you have any specific questions or there's any specific residents that have a rumor, you can direct them to the city manager, myself. Be more than happy to discuss that with them, and we can get more in depth.
Great,
Mark,
thank you.
Mark, when we say that this is a safe city, that's not just something we're saying to make ourselves feel good. I can say very without a doubt that even at the mall, there is a standing detail of officers and supervisors that are there every day. And some of the biggest, a lot of deployment in the last, I'd say 6 months has been really targeted in that area to really go after people who come in, for whatever reason, whether to use a stolen credit card, to shoplift or anything like that. They're very proactively targeted, and they're usually arrested away from the scene. Some of the information that I sent to everybody over the last couple of days, those were all generally self-initiated actions that the cops were being proactive, which really puts out a message, it's not a message for our residents, it's really a message to the bad guys, because believe me when I tell you, the word does go back to those people that are going to come here to do something. That flows back to that community, that criminal community that say, you know what, it's not worth our time to come here. They're going to stop you. They're going to get you, go somewhere else because you're going to get picked up. Brian didn't, he didn't allude to this, but a lot of the cases that he's working on, we're not just relying on our own district attorney. They're working with the federal prosecutor to really make sure that if you're arrested, if you're in possession of a weapon, we're looking to get some time on you. And that's the kind of effect that really goes back to that group that will come here. So they've really been doing a fantastic job, and they've been doing it for quite a while. So, like you said before, anybody's passing rumors, I'd be happy to talk to them, and we'll take care of that one-on-one.
Thank you. Just my quick follow-up, if I could, which is, I think, Chief, I heard you say, would it be a correct statement if I said to somebody in the last 60 days there have been no reported muggings or robberies within the city? Is that accurate?
That would be correct.
All right. Thanks so much.
Okay, I think next I said Dr. Mark and then Vice Mayor Shelley.
Okay, two very quick items. First of all, I think on behalf of probably the whole commission, Mayor, we would like to extend our condolences to Sergeant Mark Frieder, who lost his father. So I don't know, Mayor, if you want to speak to that or.
I had it down under my comments. No, that's perfectly fine. He should know that we all have sent our condolences, our support. He's an amazing law enforcement officer, Chief. We're lucky to have him. You kinds of officers, and we really admire the officers, but Sergeant Frieder, well, he's the police officer that if someone has a flat tire, he's stopping in the middle of the street when he's off duty, changing the tire himself. He's the one helping the person with the bags of groceries out of Publix because he happened to run in there for something for his home. He is heart and soul all into this community. Unfortunately, his dad did pass away. A number of us spoke to him, but he has all of the thoughts and prayers of our entire commission during this time. And Dr. Marks, feel free to add.
Well, I echo everything you said, Mayor. He's a lovely man, and it was a very sad thing to lose his father. And so thank you for, just making mention of that. And then the other thing that I just want to mention is a number of months ago, we went ahead with the approval of the commission, and we installed a secure box in the lobby where you can bring unused medications that you no longer want to keep instead of flushing it down the toilet or in some other way, affecting the environment. And our city manager has informed me that we're very successful in receiving lots and lots of these medications that are being dropped off. And so I'm very happy to announce that initiative is working very well. And I would ask our city manager if we could send out another notification when, maybe again to the residents of, the various condos, because it is working well and it's a safe and good way to, get rid of those additional medications. So thank you.
And can I ask the city manager how the city is disposing of it?
Several times we store it, and you know what? I know the police department has there's a third-party contractor that takes it and disposes of it. I'm not really sure exactly how they do it, but it's been really, really successful. More than I ever imagined. So.
No, as long as you don't say we do it on eBay, I'm fine with it.
I was going to say we flush it down the toilet.
Toilet, right. Dr. Marks, anything else? Vice Mayor Shelley.
Yeah, this is something very beautiful at a time that there isn't much to be beautiful about it with what's going on with the virus. But this Friday, Aventura Turnberry Jewish Center, in conjunction with a state program, is vaccinating 500 people from the African American Church and the Miami Gardens Mosque, and as well as any religious organization. It's not limited to any one particular, but primarily it's those two. And they have already, this is going to make 1,000 vaccinations they've already done in 3 weeks. But for anyone that wants to stop by and see something very heartwarming and beautiful, it'll be Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And it's quite an event. And
Bob, I hate to interrupt, but the rabbi today told me it's Thursday.
oh, well, I've
And I
got,
want to get right on, and I just double checked his email, Thursday.
okay, good.
So
Because
I think we,
Rabbi Guido told me Friday.
well, it's either Thursday or Friday.
Okay, one of these 2 days is a beautiful event.
It's a beautiful event.
It really is.
Absolutely.
And it's
Absolutely.
heartwarming that it's joint between the African American, the mosques, Muslims, and the Jews and the non-Orthodox, and it's just open to everybody. And I will tell
It's
you
showing
that
the-
it's something heartwarming. And if you have a few minutes and you want to stop by, it's, as the mayor said, it's going to be quite beautiful. And we will verify whether it's Thursday or Friday.
Yeah. And maybe Ron could get that out to us when we get that information.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the change we do want to see in the world, where people of all walks of life and faiths and races and creeds and religion can come together and do something good for a community. The temple is very special in doing this, and I hope everyone takes 5 minutes and drops by, and we'll find out which day it is.
Yeah.
Anything else, Vice Mayor?
That's all. Thank you.
Commissioner Friedland. Am I wrong? I'm sorry, Commissioner Friedland, you're muted.
Yes, I think I'm off. Thank you.
Okay.
I just wanted to follow up with 2 points. One, I think it's absolutely beautiful that the temple is working together and we're going to have this interdenominational way to help people. But since we do have the public listening, I've had many calls the last few weeks, emails, texts from residents begging for our city to get the vaccine out to our public. And I just want to, while we're here in this public forum, let people know that as a city, we would probably be more than happy to do that, but the vaccine hasn't come to the city. It's come to medical facilities and the government and not to our city. So to all the residents who might tune in, I want them to know I've taken every one of your questions and any one of your pleads seriously. But we do have a website that lets people register to get online if they're capable of getting the vaccine. And I know Commissioner Sally Hayman sends information around about that website. I posted it on my social media. I think our city may have posted it now on social media for people who are 65 and older to register. And when spaces come available, you'll get notified that you can get the vaccine. So I want our public to know that. Since it's not from our city, we would be happy to get it for you, but we don't have that access. And Mayor, I don't know if you want to say anything else on that.
I reposted the list that you made because it made it very, very clear. Each county now has a phone number, and all it is one call to that number. You don't have to keep calling again and again and again for appointments. As soon as one becomes available, they will call you back telling you, where and when you're supposed to go. So again, I hope that can be on our city. I hope that can be a push out from the city because it's probably the single number one question that all of us are asked. Okay.
Exactly.
And people are getting, as each day passes, there's more desperation. Commissioner Evans.
Okay. There was some good news today that the government is going to give 1 million doses to pharmacies starting on the 11th of February. So next week, a week on Thursday. So I think that might help a lot. If they distribute it evenly, well, it should be pretty good, I think. Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Friedland.
Yes, I had just one other thing that I wanted to say. Last week when we spoke, we heard in our workshop, we heard a lot about the Homeless Trust, and we spoke to Ron Book, and I followed up with that with Michael Stern and Sergeant Hans from the Aventura Police Department. They have a community advisor panel that Michael Stern helped start, I believe, and want to let our wonderful police are working on this, and we're going to be working on this as a kind of a citywide effort to try and make some better situation for the homeless people that have kind of migrated to Aventura or South Florida a lot more during COVID. And I recently learned that prior to COVID, our city might have had approximately 30, 35 homeless people, and more people came to our city just during COVID looking for warmth and security, all of South Florida, I think in general. But we are going to be working on this, and I'm thrilled that our Aventura police is stepping up and recognizing in a kinding manner how we can all work together. So I just want to let the commission know that was a follow-up from last week's call as well.
Okay, and then I would like to follow up, and I would appreciate if the city manager would get back to us on this, because if it's a city effort, we need to be informed in the beginning of it, not at the end of it.
I don't think, Your Honor, Mayor, I don't think it has taken that much action yet. It's something the community advisor panel and the police are working on. Only that my own experience with the Aventura Cares project that I was doing, I told them I would connect them with my resources. It's not something the city has taken a huge effort on yet. I think they would love our help when it gets going.
Wait a minute, it's not something the city knows about.
Hold on. First of all, let me straighten something out. The police department has always had an ongoing homeless intervention portion of what they do on patrol. They take people into not into custody, but they take them to the hospital on a regular basis. And actually, some of we've seen actually, and Chief Pegues can answer this. There's been a reduction in actually homeless on the street that started with the help of shutting down the mall bus stop, the bus station, from 1 to 4. That had a big effect on that. We also look for, as in the trust, where people tend to hang out or stay on a regular basis. Those are the areas that we work on, but we work on them normally. I think because it came up in the workshop, there's renewed effort there, but it's not something that we just started. This is an ongoing effort that the police deal with every day here.
Now, it's been reflected in our minutes and commission meetings, and it's come to our attention numerous times, years ago, presently. And I just know when the city's name's attached to it, as I well think it should be, that we need to know if there are plans that are going on. I think Ron made a very passionate presentation. I can tell you that probably 3 years went by and there were 20, 30, 40 people under the garage in the mall. And all it took was one meeting with our police in the mall. And they really got it straightened out. So there's no reason to wait 3 years. So when something is a pressing issue, I think when everybody knows about it publicly and it's discussed with us, all kinds of resources can be brought to the table, because we should care about our most fragile people. And they certainly fit in that circumstance. They really and truly do. Okay, anybody else? And I have 2 quickies because it just came to my attention. You know, we're going, keep saying 8 months, but really it started in February. We're almost a year into this pandemic. And I was not aware that during this whole year, our Community Services Committee never had a meeting, not by Zoom and not by any other way, nor has our Youth Advisory Board had a meeting. It is February. I also did some due diligence in checking with neighboring municipalities, and I have flyers of wonderful presentations they use this time to do Zoom meetings on PPP, on loans, on all the things that people have been asking us about, on vaccine sites, on having public health officials in to kind of tell and share with the public. So I'm going to ask the city manager to please see if we can't also have these committees, which provide valuable services to the commission and the people in Aventura, to please be able to meet via Zoom. It seems to be the way of the world right now.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Anybody else?
You said you had two things, Mayor.
Oh, well, it's hard to read my notes. Well, one was the community service, one was their chapbooks I talked about. Also, as we come out of this, Ron, I would suggest, at least at some point in time, a town hall meeting format. Okay, where it's not 9 people, we would get a greater show of representation. It doesn't have to be a commission meeting, but people have questions. They have concerns. I no longer am, I know what our last executive order said, but people tend to forget. I'm not sure what the situation is with gyms any longer. And I'm hopeful, as Jonathan, as we see more vaccines, that it's going to make the situation better. But I think we're in this for the long haul. Okay. I don't think anything's going to change overnight. So communication becomes just really very, very important to me. And I think that the only way we have to communicate really and truly with the citizens in Aventura is through some kind of Zoom and media. And it doesn't matter to me if we involve the marketing council. For me, the more the better. It's just that there's some messages out there. There are people that still don't know how to apply for dollars that are due them. I think Brian could put something together. And then if they want to listen, they can listen. But at least as a city, we have gone the extra mile to provide the information. And I hope it's not too much to ask, honestly. Mark, was there anything?
I mean, I could go on and on, like March 19th, State of the City, AMC, but I mean, you got to stop me. So.
No, well, State of the City, right. Well, the city's been on pause for 12 months. But in truth, I have to say, there's a group of silent elves that do the work in this city, and the work is absolutely incredible. And the elves I'd like to talk about tonight are the ones that work for Joel Kroll. Okay, the amount of work that this man has accomplished, taking the pandemic and a little bit less traffic on our streets, he has been non-stop. So I know during this year of a pandemic, there are hundreds of things the city has done to put us in much better position. And I'm sure at the AMC, we will have an opportunity to name at least 3 of them.
Probably a few more than 3.
Okay, well, I'm not sure. There might be other cities there as well. So, we get the little time slot. But I do have to say, when you see the work, and usually my first reaction is, oh, more, it's creating more traffic at the light. And then you see the size of these water pipes. Ron, what did you tell me? They'll hold almost 4 times as much as the current ones?
Yeah, the 36-inch.
Yeah, I mean, it's enormous, and the positive impact's going to really be felt. So during this time, many of our departments have really worked tirelessly. And I think if we look all over the city, we can see what Joe's people are doing. So for me, a big kudo to Joe and his people. I really mean it. It hasn't been easy. Okay, I'm going to go. Anybody else? If not, then I will open it for public comment. Is there anyone from the public that wishes to address the commission?
Any members of the public wishing to provide a comment at this time, please use your raised hand icon. Mayor, I have Howard Weinberg that will be providing some comments.
Okay. Do you have to do anything, City Clerk?
Yes, I'm waiting for him to.
Okay.
I think Howard's going to come on camera. It looks like it.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Can you see me?
No.
No.
I don't know why, but you don't really need to see me.
Okay.
Wait, let's see. How's that?
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Anyway, I have a couple of comments, but I do have breaking news. Vice Mayor Shelley actually gave me goosebumps this evening. And it's amazing what he mentioned with, so many times I've heard, oh yeah, Aventura, you're the city with no churches. And some people actually know us in that way. But this idea of the collaboration with the mosque and the church is really incredible. And it's not the first time. I mean, I don't know, maybe it was May or June. The farm share was at Aventura Turnberry Jewish Center, working again with the same groups, with the mosque and with the church. And there were hundreds of cars. I think it was something over 300 cars where people were given meals that needed it during the height of COVID and before there was any federal relief. So it was really amazing. The fact that there's an ongoing collaboration is really, I'm so happy to hear that they're getting together, doing more stuff again this week. It's terrific. Just a point to confirm what the mayor had said earlier. I had originally asked, as you recall, I've never spoken to or met anyone with Safra Bank, but it seemed to me that if that building was going to come down, that looked like almost an iconic piece of art, that mosaic. So I did confirm this week that at their expense, if the building comes down, they'll do whatever the city asks them to do with it. I'm not promoting that piece. If you know me, you know I'm not the arbiter of fine art. If it's something that's should be given a place that the community could see, then great. If not. But I just thought seeing a wrecking ball hit it would have been a shame. But my most important point is I wanted to thank the commission. Probably the most important thing you did tonight was to approve the contract for Freebie. And it is a game changer. And I look back, it was November 2019 when I first brought it to a workshop. Obviously, it took a long time. There was an RFP, there was a pandemic, there's a contract to be negotiated, but from soup to nuts, because there's still going to be more time for the vehicles to arrive, it's about 18 months from the time the light bulb went off in my brain. And I just implore you now, let's not be another 18 months to ramp it up. I think 3 of you live where the service will be starting, south portion of the city. 4 of you live in an area where you're going to have neighbors that are going to want to enjoy this as well. So as we see it successful, I mean, I think it's going to be the highest and best use of our county transportation tax dollars. So let's incrementally increase it, add a vehicle, add another vehicle, add more service area until the city is covered and everybody is thrilled with this. How many cars have been taken off the street with an all-electric on-demand alternative. So I thank you very much for approving it tonight.
I have a question to follow up with what Mr. Weinberg.
One second, Commissioner. This is normally, Mr. Attorney, would you read what you normally read in public forum?
Thank you, Mayor. Under the, can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Under the commission rules, this is a time where we receive public input, but we do not, under our rules, engage in questions or discussions. If there is any follow-up information, the city manager will, subsequent to the meeting, follow up with that. Thank you.
I will have no problem coming back to you. Just let me make sure there's no one else that wishes to address us right now in the public. City
There
clerk.
are members from the public. Please raise your hand at this time using your icon. Mayor, I'm not seeing anybody else at this time.
Okay, then I'll go back to Commissioner Friedland and then to Vice Mayor Shelley.
Not so much a question actually from Mr. Weinberg. It's really a question for us as a commission. I understand that we will be responsible to vote on the hours of the freebie and the age of the individuals will be able to ride on it without an adult. And I wanted to know when we might be discussing that.
Well, that's to the city manager.
The hours, I believe, is going to be 7 to 11, and the age was, I wanted to say 13 or 14. I'm not sure. I just have to check. I can
So
get.
are those hours set in stone? Because I think we were discussing that if there were any of the students in high school in the city that could benefit from this, that would make it a little difficult.
Okay, I'll look at it and get back to you.
Thank you.
And if you could get back to all of us, I think Commissioner Friedland makes a good point there. In a couple of the other cities that I talked to, particularly Pinecrest, they're centering it because that's their traffic. You know, that's one of their traffic points of the day is school openings and dismissals. That maybe we could align it and see if there is a need for, you know, for our students to be able to be on the freebie as well. And
Okay.
one other question I have about it, is there going to be any kind of an Aventura ID or anything needed to get on the vehicle?
No,
Is that something we can think about?
I don't think, I can think about it. We can think about it, but necessarily, I don't think you would need it. As long as you start in the zone, the yellow zone, you can go anywhere in the city as long as it ends in the end zone.
Yeah, my concern is that you're starting with 2 cars and that we're very, very dense, and 2 cars, you know, it's relief and I'm all in favor of it, but I'd like it to be for residents. You know, it's something we're using tax dollars for transportation for our residents, and I'd like to see it, but just something for you to think about.
Yes, I
That's
can.
all. Vice Mayor Shelley.
Just real quickly, the rabbi just got back to me and he made a mistake. It is Thursday. Thursday from Portland. Rabbi Guido he called Rabbi Brock. And he's working it right.
All's well that ends well,
All's
Bob.
well that ends well.
Dr. Marks.
Now, I think that I had asked that question about can we limit ridership, and I believe that our city manager told us that because we're using dollars from the transportation fund, that we cannot limit it to just Aventura residents, that we have to open it to anyone who wants to take it. Is that correct, city manager?
I believe so. And whenever you do that, it would be like, we can't restrict people from getting on the Aventura bus, same reason as you said. So, I mean, I'll still look at it, but it would seem that way.
It's using dollars that are due to us, and every city has their own. And that is why our buses don't go across county, you know, across municipal lines. But once they're here, I'm fine with it. I just think 2 cars, you know, you're talking about a few people, and it's better than nothing, but it's a very small way to get started, and we'll just see where it goes. I wish we could have done more, and I'd like to know how much more money is in that fund. Because this rushing to spend money in funds at the last minute never makes me happy. And if there's an appreciable amount of money in that fund, it might behoove us to look at something a little more on the beginning side, so we really do have a truer pilot. But just something for you to think about.
Okay.
Anybody else? Okay, then I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion.
Made by Commissioner Narodsky, seconded by Commissioner Evans. Anybody opposed? Everybody have a good weekend.
Have a good week.
Wear a
Take
coat,
care.
wear a mask, take care. And I'll see you
Good
Friday.
evening.
Is it the weekend already?
Be safe.
Wait, what's